Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Tuesday lunch chat. I'm coming to you live from my grand old office, and Campbell's out there putting away our vintage chunky that arrived yesterday. So if you have yet to get your yarn for the glamping blanket knit along from Casa Pinka, we are stocked up. I gotta go pick out my colors later when I get off the video. Julia is gonna come by and pick her colors out, and I know I'm not going to be able to resist doing the same. So, what mood am I in? Which direction am I going to go? So often I end up picking colors for a blanket because I love the combination, but not necessarily because it suits my living quarters. So, we'll see if I hold true to form or if I actually pick out something that'll work in my house. Hi, Patty. Good to see ya. Hi, Erica. Yeah, so I'm super excited about that, and I'm excited to cast on because a chunky project is going to be such a departure from everything I'm doing right now. I am on all socks and a sport weight sweater, so little needles are the name of my game currently, and it'll be nice to have something to break that up with for my hands. I tell you, I'm so sick of being a bit on the injured list with this tendonitis that I've been dealing with since June. I am in physical therapy weekly, and it's made a ton of improvement. Ton. I still knit and work, which is probably why it's still a problem. But I'm so over it. I would just like to knit with abandon for hours and hours and hours if I want to without paying for it later. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. So anyway, I'm looking forward to knitting on like 9 or 10 needles. I can't remember what she said, but it's one of those. Absolutely can't wait. Um Yes, vintage chunky. Yeah, so Sarah, oh good. Oh, you got your pictures. So I was sending some combos to Sarah and Bend so that she could see to round out her palette. And so if you are curious and feel like you would need an extra confirmation, like you've got a couple combos you're looking at, just shoot me an email to our customer service email and I can take a quick picture of those together so that you can get an idea of how they look next to each other, because I know it's really hard when you're just looking at little squares of color, or little pictures. It's hard to imagine four of those all together. One word of FYI. Thank you, Patty. Patty says, who cares if it matches your house? Amen. I love it. Hi, everybody who I missed. That cracks me up. Thank you, Patty. Um, Oh, the word of caution is the light pink color. It's called fondant. And that is what Casa Pinka uses in her sample that the pictures show, with chana dal, mochi, and oats. We got a bag of that in, but and I think somebody has got a couple skeins. We might be down to like 8 or 7 or something like that. But Berroco is out of that now. So if you were looking for that color and we sell out of it, there actually is 2 new colors coming down the pike available in November that Berroco is going to be introducing in Vintage Chunky. They're kind of pink heathers and they are very similar. I've got pictures of them from Berroco. I didn't put them listed yet because I do have fondant in stock still. But if you see that go out of stock, we do have some other options. So if pink's the name of your game, I think that's the second time I've used that phrase in this video, which is a little embarrassing. Name of your game. I don't like to repeat myself. Anyways, reach out again via email if we've sold out of the fondant, because we might be able to hook you up with something very, very close. They're actually 2 beautiful new colors. And when they said they're going to be available in November, I got kind of excited because that seems like a strange time to introduce new colors. Um, but it's fun. I love it. So yeah. Bert, your doesn't match your house either. Oh, your daughter helped you. Okay, that's awesome. I love that reasoning for the colors. You picked good colors, or she picked good colors. I really liked your combo that you ordered. So yeah, that's the update on the glamping blanket, and you can check that out on our website. It's right on our homepage. Just scroll down past the main banner, and there's a link to it. I've had a few people email and say, where do I get the info? And it's just It's right there on the homepage. There's a picture of Sharon from security. That would be the cat on the blanket. Just click right there and you can get all the info. Let's see what else is doing today. I did some knitting. I actually have some progress to show, so let's talk about that. First up is my Gardengate sweater, which is past the sleeve divide. Thank you very much. So every time I pull this out, I pull it off the needles. Oh well, I can recover those stitches. It'll be fine. Let's see. Front, back, front, back. Here we go. Yay! Some of you might have seen my Instagram post. Yesterday I shared a picture of the wrong side because it's so freaking beautiful. But here she is in all her glory, the yoke. I wish you guys could feel it. Can you just reach through and squish, 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 squish? Um, this pattern, Sandra, are you talking about this or this is Garden Gate by Jennifer Steingrass? And then if you're talking about the knit along, I was just talking about that's the Glamping Blanket from Casa Pinka. Okay, so Garden Gate by knit.love.wool, who's Jennifer Steingrass, and I'm knitting this in Manos de Uruguay Alpaca Heather. It is delectable. It's like I cannot wait to be done with this, especially because it got cold, and so it feels like sweater time. Here's the wrong side. Here's my floats. I love the wrong side. I've always been saying that someday I'm gonna do a wrong side sweater, and I never have. But I just every time I finish some color work, I'm like, oh, the wrong side's so pretty. Anyway, now it's to the boring stockinette, round and round. There we go. So, I mean, I should be able to handle that, right? We'll see. Other things I was knitting. Socks. Okay, so, oh, thank you so much, Julia. Thank you. Julia just posted a link to the glamping blanket and vintage chunky information. Okay, so I finally got past the heel far enough on my Afterthought heel socks to go back with a second set of needles and do the heel. So here it is. This is my Dream in Color Socket Club Smooshy. This stuff feels so good. I've got a couple of these on the needles now, and I just stop every so often and I'm like, so my plan for these is to do a bunch of gifts for Christmas. And so I actually have already gone back in and pulled out my waste yarn that was holding, it was knit right between here, right along here. I had a line of waste yarn and I pulled it out and I captured the stitches from each side and I did my heel. And so the pattern I'm following is the Afterthought heel sock, and she has you knit a heel that is actually just like knit decreasing for a toe. It's the same exact concept that, so if you've ever decreased for a toe, you can see my lines of two decreases right there, and then you Kitchener it together right here like that. So I just couldn't resist waiting till the end of the sock. I needed to know what this is all about. And so I'm so glad I did. I learned a couple things about how better to close the gaps up that are right in the corners where you take your waste yarn out. But love it. I'm really happy with it. It also taught me because okay, so this is the other confusing thing about an Afterthought heel is I've got the basic top down heel flap sock pattern memorized. I know exactly the distance that I need to stop at to finish the toe. You can measure from the back of the heel to see if you've achieved that distance, etc. When you haven't pulled the heel out and you have, I'll show you what it looks like. You just have your line of waste yarn. Measuring is a lot trickier, especially if you're not making these socks for yourself and you have to go to a very specific measurement, right? So I wanted to get a heel done so that would give me at least a general idea of what distance I got out of this, and then that's going to be very similar to what I'll get out of the toe, so that I know how far to do the plain portion of the foot. So that's one of those, and then here's the second pair. One's the downstairs pair, one's the upstairs pair. So here is my upstairs pair. So for comparison, it hasn't had the heel pulled out and done yet. So here, you see this dark line right here? That is my waist yarn. It couldn't be easier. When it's time to put the heel in, you just grab some waist yarn and you knit across half of your stitches. Then you slip those back to, well, if you're doing two circulars, you just pull the needle to the other end, and then you knit across that with your regular yarn, and then you just continue. And then what happens is later, you go and you carefully pull this out and you capture the stitches from above and below, live stitches, and join your heel color yarn. You pick up a little bit in the little gap that's created on each side so that it helps close that gap. And voila, you put your heel in. So it is really nice to be able to go round and round and round and just kind of check out mentally. You don't have to pay any attention or do all the decreasing for the gusset, etc., etc. You can just get the length you need, put the toe on, come back, grab that heel. So I like it. I like it. I'm sold. I'm gonna hopefully bust out a bunch of these for Christmas. We'll see. Um, I could sync that pattern link too because there is a couple different Afterthought heel patterns. I found as I was trying to pull it up on my phone because I had left because I'm so lazy, I'd left the instructions upstairs, but I was downstairs knitting and I couldn't remember and I needed to go. Um, without getting up. I didn't want to get up, you guys. It was really cold and I had a blanket on. And so I tried to pull it up on my phone and there's turns out a lot of Afterthought heel patterns. So here is the one I'm working on. This is the one that came suggested to us from Dream and Color with the Socket Club. So I just popped that into the comments right now. So here is what I was talking about that I have thoroughly memorized. This is my own generic vanilla sock on two circular needles for lightweight yarn, so like size 1 needles, and I finished these. If you're in the Unraveled group for our page, you would have seen the picture that I posted. These are some Arnie and Carlos Regia 4-ply sock yarn that I put in my stash ages ago. Ages ago. To me, they somehow kind of felt like Christmas colors, even though it's kind of really just blue and salmon. It, I don't know why. It seemed Christmassy. I felt verified. I felt validified because I was showing these to my daughter Mallory and she was like, oh, they look like Christmas. And I was like, oh, yeah, they do. That's what I thought. Anyway, I always am so happy when I get the the repeat point figured out perfectly so that when I start the second sock, they come out exactly the same. This was not one of those perfect pairs where you have the lead cord that shows you where to start the second one so that they're exact. I had to just kind of visually figure it out by pulling the yarn until there was time to start the second sock, and it was perfect. And not only that, in the second sock, I had a knot, and God bless Regia, they picked up and tied in the yarn in the exact same spot that it was supposed to be in so that the pattern was uninterrupted. I once did a pair of socks that went in a rainbow colorway. I think it was an opal yarn, and I was making these godforsaken knee-high entrelac socks. I don't know if any of you remember those from Interweave magazine back in like 2007, but I was determined I was going to do these rainbow entrelac knee-highs. I never did the second one. If you're curious how that came out. So I'm working on this sock and it's going through all of its color changes, and in fact I'm manipulating the yarn so that I can get just one tier in each color, and I get like halfway down the leg and there's a knot and I'm like, okay, well that's all right. It's tied into the same color, so it should work out. They freaking tied that knot in and the rest of the yarn went in the reverse direction. So instead of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, which I'd been going, all of a sudden I was in purple and it was going to backwards out of that. Blue, green. And once I realized I had to back it up, undo where my join was, and then rewind the entire remnant of the skein so that I could put it in the correct order. It was so aggravating. Do you guys want to see a picture of that sock, that one sock? I'm gonna see if I can pull it up out of my old projects and put it into the the entrelac knee high. Hi, that's singular, Julia. There was no knee highs, but I did make that entrelac knee high pattern later in two colors of solid yarn. So it was, it wasn't totally thrown out the window. But the funny thing is my kids used one of each of those socks for Crazy Socks Day for years in elementary school. So I'm going to put a link to that right now into the comments. There is a link to I called it my Pippi Entrelac stocking because it was rainbow opal and there was only ever one of them. So, anyways, all of that to say, we got a lot done this weekend. Um, you guys think they're Christmassy too? Okay, thank you, Diane. I'm just paging through the comments. Um, yes, definitely. So, something I wanted to do today was kind of give you like a little review of something in the store that we haven't spent time on before talking about. And so I thought that I would highlight for you guys one of our most under promoted or undervalued yarns. It's a value, but it just doesn't get a lot of attention except for maybe as a budget yarn or as a baby yarn, something that, because it's easy care, but it is so much more than that. And so I'm going to show it to you. Okay. We're talking about Ultra Wool DK. This yarn from Berroco has 292 yards, so it's got really, really good yardage. It knits at kind of solidly on a US 5 at 5 3/4 stitches to the inch, just so really truly right in DK territory. And it comes in Berroco's entire palette of amazing colors, like they do for their ultra wool line. Ladder swatch time! You know me and my ladder swatch. Okay, so this is my ladder swatch, and this is one of my favorite little tricks in the store because people, if you just hand this to someone and don't tell them what the yarn is, they're immediately in love. It feels so amazing. Even when I finished it and blocked it, I was like, what? It feels so good. No one ever can figure out what this is. It doesn't have that slimy feel like some superwash yarns do. That's one of the things that I love about the Berroco superwash line. No slimy. In fact, it feels like a really quality merino, but it's just generic wool. And it is washable. It is super wash. Okay, so let's talk about my swatch here. Up here on the tight end of the spectrum, I did this on a US 3. So I got a couple needle sizes below recommended needle. And that's at 6.5 stitches to the inch. And you know what? It's a beautiful fabric, you guys. Beautiful fabric at 6.5 stitches to the inch. So then we have a 4 at 6 1/4, a 5 at 6. So I was a little tighter than what they recommend. On a 6, I got 5.5 stitches to the inch. And on a 7, I got 5 stitches to the inch. And even on a 7 at 5 stitches to the inch, it's not open and airy. It's just a nice lightweight fabric. So really good performer here. Really good value. It's $14 for 292 yards. And I have a great project to show you that I did in it. This is Cheryl Faust's Meet Me at Midnight. And I did this in Berroco Ultra Wool DK. Isn't it beautiful? So I used like a gold, a brick red, and kind of a tan color. And oh, I love, love, love how it feels. It's got great drape. I knit this on a size 5 and 6. So you switch back and forth in the mosaic and then the stockinette. You do different needle sizes. But just absolutely, absolutely a lovely shawl. And I mean, what's better than a 3 skein shawl that is $14 a skein? I mean, everybody is so in love with hand dyes for rightful reasons. Beautiful stuff is available on the hand dyed market. But sometimes when you have something like mosaic going on in a shawl, what you really need is solids, like dependable solids. And this yarn fits the bill. I mean, nobody that picks this up would think that this was one of our workhorse yarns off the shelf. They would just be like, oh, gorgeous. What is it? Oh, that's the Ultra Wool DK. So glad you asked. Julia says she's thinking of doing her happy hour sweater in the Ultra Wool DK. It would be so perfect in that. So, so perfect. I love it. Thank you, Diane. That shawl was a labor of love. I don't know why maybe because I love the result of mosaic knitting, but I don't love knitting it. Um, it's not intuitive enough that you can like easily memorize. I have a hard time looking at my knitting and seeing where the patterns should go, especially because they tend to move in these blocky chunks, like this. So on those those right side mosaic rows where you have to knit and slip, I always am finding myself really having to pay attention to a chart and count. Whereas with stranded knitting, like my Gardengate, I can take one pass at the repeat, and then in my mind I'm doing this: 2 3 2 1 1 2 1 1, 2 3 2 1 1 2 1 1, and I can kind of that's memorized for 380 stitches. For some reason my brain just won't stay on task enough, and if I start to look below I get really confused. So mosaic, because I'm lazy, it just takes more work, and so I tend to not want to do it. I love how it turns out though. Love how it turns out. So yeah, thank you. The shawl, yes, I will absolutely repeat the name. In fact, I'll do you one better, Patty, and I'll put the link to it here in the comments. That is the Meet Me at Midnight shawl by Cheryl Faust, Faust. And coming right up, we have Linkaroonies. Okay. And that was done with 3 colors of Berroco Ultra Wool, one of my favorite yarns in the shops. Excuse me, Ultra Wool DK, and 1 skein each. That's all you need. So, all right, I have blathered on for 22 minutes, and that's plenty of time. So I'm going to let y'all go. And I hope that you had a nice time on a lunch chat today. I know I certainly did. I'll see you guys back here, same time, same place on Friday. All right, have a good week, everyone.